Overnight, Israel directly blaming Iran for aiding Hamas before the war, offering training, money, and weapons. The IDF says Tehran also ordered recent attacks in Yemen, Iraq, and Lebanon. And with Iran sending more threats to the West, the White House promises it will respond. Listen.
The United States does not seek conflict with Iran. We do not want this war to widen. But if Iran or its proxies attack U.S. personnel anywhere, make no mistake, we will defend our people, we will defend our security swiftly and decisively.
American troops stationed on the U.S. bases in the Middle East have been attacked 14 times since the war started, at least 24 hurt in those attacks. Dr. Ramesh Sepehrrad is the advisory board chair of the Organization of Iranian-American Communities, and she joins me now. Doctor, thanks so much for being here. My problem with Blinken's statement is as follows. U.S. personnel have been attacked, yet there has been little swift or decisive action from this White House. Your thoughts?
You're absolutely right. This is a regime that has been a strategic threat to peace and stability in the region. At the end of the day, the head of the snake is in Tehran, and we have to look at the root cause of this conflict. This is a regime that's been waging a war on its own citizens for the past 4 decades, with massacres across Iran. We saw it in the protests last year. We saw it in the protests in 2019 in Zahedan massacre. And again, the words can go so far. It really needs to be backed with a firm policy on Iran. And I think we need to deal with the Iranian problem with the way that the people of Iran are calling for the change of this regime from within. And the change will come by the Iranian people. And that's how we need to really address the root cause of this problem. Because, only Iranian regime, only Tehran's Ayatollah will benefit from ongoing conflict and the war in the region because of the fact that they're trying to shield themselves and cover their inherent weakness on how they're facing an inevitable overthrow by the people of Iran.
Okay, but to that point, the strategy from the Biden administration thus far, following the Obama administration, obviously Trump was in the middle there, but it has been appeasement. In that last answer you gave, are you saying that we should actively support opposition forces in Iran to overthrow the current regime there?
Just 12 hours before this conflict broke in the Middle East, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was visiting with the leader of the Iranian opposition in Paris, Maryam Rajavi. And this is what he says. He says a serious missing factor in U.S. policy towards Iran has been a lack of political support for the Iranian people's right to overthrow this regime and the recognized and organized opposition group, which is the MEK. So I think what we need to really do is to look at those facts and understand, what does the future hold? Do we want a future of war and conflict in the region, or do we want a future of peace and stability? And again, Secretary Pompeo added that the future of U.S. policy towards Iran has to be centered around the support of this organized opposition and increasing pressure on the regime until this regime falls. There are specific steps that the U.S. administration can take to really address the root cause, as I said, in dealing with the head of the snake in Iran.
Right.
And that includes, stopping the appeasement, really choosing a very solid strategic policy on the Iranian regime so that the people of Iran are empowered to bring this regime down.
It does beg the question, Doctor, how far can Iran ultimately push its provocation of the United States before we actually do act? And does that action involve what you just discussed? We will see. It does seem like Mike Pompeo versus what we have now. Mike Pompeo is a much better approach than the Biden administration. Dr. Ramesh Sepehrrad, we appreciate your time and insight. Thank you.